Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to Weather on the Go, all your weather coverage. In today's video, I will be taking you through Thanksgiving week, giving you the heads up for another storm system across the Northeast that could bring some snow, some rain, and even some thunderstorms to portions of the Northeast and the Eastern Seaboard. And we'll be tracking another major storm system closing out the month of November and moving into the first week in December in this video. If you guys have yet to subscribe to the YouTube channel, hit the subscribe button down below and the notification bell to get all of my daily weather forecast updates on this channel. I cover Canada, I cover the United States, and the tropics as well. So if you guys hit the subscribe button, get all my daily weather forecast videos here on this channel. Here, looking at the forecast here this week, we definitely are starting off the week with a zonal flow pattern in the United States where we have more of the Pacific jet stream moving off here from west to east across the United States. This usually brings more of a lull in the action here. And that is some good news after seeing some very heavy snowfall across portions of interior New England. We picked up nearly 80 inches of snowfall just near the Buffalo, New York area. That has been confirmed. And even up toward portions of Watertown, New York here into northwestern New York State. We even picked up more than 2 feet of snowfall with that very intense lake effect snowfall over the last couple of days. But looking here to your temperatures this afternoon, we still got those colder temperatures up to the north across the upper Midwest and the northern plains. You could be seeing highs into the 20s up around the Minneapolis-St. Paul area, the northwoods of Wisconsin, back into portions of North Dakota, and getting into South Dakota there. But to the south, we have more return flow from the Gulf of Mexico, some more moisture, some more warmth from the south, and that's where we see temperatures rising into the 50s, if not the lower 60s across portions of northwest Texas, getting into western Oklahoma and Kansas there, and then again 40s across the Ohio and Tennessee River valleys. That will continue. More return flow will move a little bit farther north on your Tuesday, November 22nd. We'll warm things up across the upper Midwest here from the 20s into the 30s. The Chicago area getting back over toward Des Moines, Iowa will be in the upper 40s on your Tuesday, and then some lower and middle 60s starting to show up across the southern plains. Definitely a nice warm up in sight as we head into early on this week. But changes do come as we get towards the middle of the week, as we have a very significant dive in the jet stream here. We have that very strong polar jet here starting to phase with the subtropical jet across the southern United States, and that's going to create a very large positively tilted trough across the center of the country as we head towards Thursday, Thanksgiving Day itself. And as we get into after Thanksgiving on your Friday, November 25th, that trough really digs all the way southward towards the Gulf of Mexico, and this really assures the potential for a major storm system for the eastern side of the country as we get towards this coming weekend here, especially after Thanksgiving. So looking at this here with the European forecast guidance, yes, you definitely see all the warmer air off to the west, but we do see this bowling ball type of trough, a positively tilted trough, starting to dig all the way southward toward the northern Gulf Coast, and that is really concerning for another potential snowstorm for the Northeast as we get towards the Thanksgiving timeframe into next week, and then this swings up into the Northeast, like I said, as we get in towards that Saturday timeframe on November 26th. So let's look at this here at the surface with what we could see with precipitation. We could see some showers, rumbles of thunder across the deep south around the Dixie Alley region as soon as Thursday morning. So if you got any travel plans for Thanksgiving across portions of Arkansas, eastern Texas, Louisiana, and Mississippi, it could be a wet go of it with some showers and storms across these areas. I'm not expecting any severe weather, however, so that is some good news. Looking across the rest of the country for your Thursday morning, looks pretty dry with a high pressure system centered across the Rockies here with a 1,043 millibar high pressure system, so definitely pretty strong. A lot of sunshine across these areas, but again, the unsettled weather will be across the south. Now, as we go into Thanksgiving night, we definitely have some more showers and storms, some heavier rainfall breaking out across the deep south here across Mississippi, Alabama, and northwestern Florida. Again, not concerning for some severe weather, but again, some chillier rains potentially a little farther to the north across downstate Illinois, the Missouri Valley there, and then getting into the western Ohio Valley for your Thursday night time frame. And then as we get into Friday morning, this is where the storm system starts to occlude a little bit. We start to see a more defined cold front with some heavier rainfall, some thunderstorms embedded in that across portions here of the Virginia area, getting down to the Carolinas and North Florida Florida. On the backside, we'll start to see more cold air start to filter into the system with a northerly flow on the backside of this 999 millibar low pressure system, with maybe some snow flurries and snow showers potentially around the Lake of the Ozarks area into Missouri, western Illinois. So we'll continue to watch that. And then this starts to occlude a little bit further potentially as we get in towards that Friday night into Saturday morning time frame. It does look like a very chilly rain across the northeast here on this model, and it's been pretty consistent over the last couple of days on showing some chillier rains, and with the snowfall a little bit farther to the north across the border into eastern Quebec, Canada. So we'll continue to watch that. And the reason why we're seeing a little bit more of the rainfall than the snowfall is because the warmer temperatures are actually going to be surging northward with this low pressure system, and the colder air will kind of be lagging a little bit farther behind this system. So there's not going to be a lot of cold air in place when this system comes through initially. So on the back side of the system, we could get some snowfall. It looks like here the higher chances of seeing snowfall will be really across portions of the Canadian provinces of Ontario and getting up into Quebec, Canada. However, I do think northern Maine, if we're into the middle 30s, we could start to see some more sleet, maybe some freezing rain, and maybe even some more snow showers there. So we'll continue to watch that. But farther to the southwest, yeah, we're going to be warming up into the 40s and 50s. So a chillier rain is expected, I think, with this system across most of the Northeast, especially that I-95 corridor from Boston to New York City, and then getting down toward the Washington, D.C. area. And that really continues as we head into that Saturday afternoon time frame. Again, we could have some backwash moisture bringing in some sleet, freezing rain, and some snowfall on the backside of the system, with some temperatures falling back into the 30s as we head into Saturday afternoon across the eastern Ohio Valley and portions of western New England again. But the warmer temperatures around the Boston area, maybe approaching the upper 50s as we get into Saturday afternoon, will assure you some liquid precipitation in the form of some rainfall. So going over all of the model guidance for the snowfall potential here, the European high-resolution guidance does show the snowfall backing off here and kind of moving a little bit farther north than what it was originally anticipated. It does look like some heavier snows up into portions of Quebec there, into portions of Montreal, getting over into eastern Quebec. Could be several inches of some wet snow up there, but again, we could have some higher elevation snows potentially along the Appalachian chain back into West Virginia. We could be seeing some snowfall amounts of a couple to a few inches there as we head into that time frame here this upcoming weekend. The GFS model in comparison, pretty similar. The heavier snowfall farther to the north, some flurries and snow showers, maybe a couple inches here into interior New England, and also the same thing holds true with the Canadian forecast model as well. The heavier snowfall across the border there into Ontario and Quebec, Canada, but a couple of inches cannot be ruled out across the northern United States. Then thereafter, it doesn't stop there. Yes, we have another major storm system I'm keeping an eye on, and this one looks a little bit more impressive here. I've been keeping my eye on this here for the last 24 hours, and this does start to show signs of, again, another positively tilted trough across the western and northwestern United States as we get in towards that following week on Monday, November 28th, and then really starts to dig in here with a long wave trough starting to develop across the northern United States, bringing down all of that colder air. We could have another polar vortex stretching event potentially towards the end of November and getting into early December, so we'll keep an eye on that. But to the south, a very energetic jet stream in the upper levels, the 250 millibar winds here on the European forecast guidance is pretty impressive, so we'll continue to watch that. But again, we'll see all this colder air start to sink its way to the south on the backside of this storm system as well as we get into that Monday, November 28th timeframe. And really that trough starting to really deepen across the western United States where we have that ridge across the east. So we'll kind of see a pattern flip-flop towards the end of November and getting into early December. So let's look at this here with the European forecast guidance. This is the high-resolution European forecast model here. And you can see if this is correct, we'll see temperatures diving back into the teens and single digits. Yes, these would be your high temperatures across Montana, Wyoming, getting into the Dakotas by your Tuesday, November 29th timeframe. But on the leading edge of the system, we could be seeing a lot of some above normal temperatures with 50s, 60s, and I'm not even ruling out some 70s down here into Texas, Oklahoma, and Louisiana as we get into the following Tuesday. And again, we could have a very defined, very strong cold front with this system with back backside, cold air moving in behind that cold front as we get towards the middle of the following week to close out the last day of November and get into early December. And what concerns me about this next storm system would actually be probably the threat for severe weather, because we do have the moisture starting to open up across the western Gulf of Mexico, moving northward as far north right now, I think, as the Missouri Valley. This will change a little bit in the coming days, but we do have dew points rising into the 40s, 50s, and even some low 60s down there toward the Houston area, into East Texas, the Shreveport, Louisiana area as we get into that Tuesday time frame. And potentially dew points could be rising well up into the middle 50s all the way northward into Michigan as we head in towards that Wednesday, November 30th time frame. And again, all you need for severe weather is just 55 degree dew points Fahrenheit or higher. And we do have that potentially as far north as the Ohio Valley as we close out the month of November. So let's look at this here with the surface precipitation. We have the European forecast guidance showing a 992 millibar low pressure system on the lee side of the Rockies here by the time we get into Tuesday afternoon, that 29th time frame. And then we could have that deepen potentially to a sub 995 millibar low into western Iowa or somewhere in the Midwest as we head in towards that Wednesday morning time frame to close out the month of November. And then again, this system could occlude a little bit with a very strong, powerful cold front moving through, with maybe a line of showers, perhaps even some thunderstorms with this as we get into that first day in December on your Thursday, December 1st time frame. Looking at the GFS, remarkably similar. Again, a 987 millibar low, a little bit stronger on the GFS on the lee side of the Rockies. Some snowfall on the backside there with all that cold air moving from north to south. And then again, we have some snowfall across the northern plains back into the western Great Plains as well, perhaps Nebraska and Kansas on this model. But again, we have to watch this potential for all these dew points rising to the 50s and 60s on the leading edge of the system, because we have all of those warmer temperatures. And again, we have all that moisture in play for maybe some severe weather. And again, remarkably similar of where the low pressure system does go. Both of these models, the European and the GFS, is actually showing this moving up into the Lake Superior region into Western Ontario, Canada by the time we go into Thursday, December 1st. And again, this is concerning for severe weather because, again, we have a positively tilted trough, and you don't really think of severe weather with a positively tilted trough, but look at these 500 millibar winds. And again, this is several days out, and we're already seeing signs of a very powerful jet stream here in the mid-levels. And again, we're already seeing signs of even a stronger low-level jet as well with this system here. So this could definitely bring lots of wind, lots of rain, maybe some stronger thunderstorms, and again, maybe some heavier snow on the backside. And speaking of the snow, yeah, we could be seeing some heavier snow across places like the North Dakota region, getting into South Dakota, the Rockies here for those skiers out there. I know they want some more snow. We definitely could be refilling some of those resorts over there with some snowfall as we get in towards the end of November. And again, the GFS a little bit farther east with this system, but bring some heavier snow, maybe farther east as well, into places like Wisconsin, Minnesota, western Iowa, and then getting back down into northwestern Kansas and Nebraska, and again, refilling some of that snowfall in those resort regions for the skiers out there as we go into the Rockies around the Denver area to close out the month. So thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys like this video, press the like button down below. That's the thumbs up button. Leave any comments, questions, and concerns below. I'll get to those later on today. And most importantly, subscribe to the YouTube channel. Thank you guys, all of you guys, for subscribing to the YouTube channel, growing this community. I definitely appreciate it. Hit the notification bell to get all of my daily weather forecast updates, and I'll see you all tomorrow for another weather forecast update.